Welcome to NEK-TV Rocks, and my guest today is Samantha DeCosta.
Hello.
And I don't really know how you describe yourself, but if I'm introducing you,
Yeah.
You are the author of 2 cookbooks, you have had bariatric surgery yourself,
Yep.
and you're successful in that
Yes.
process. But for those who haven't met you before, and can you explain what bariatric surgery is?
It's a weight loss surgery,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 3 different ones. I had the gastric sleeve, and they remove about 80% of your stomach, and they make it shaped like a banana, and it's about as big as your pointer finger, so you're only able to eat small amounts of food in the beginning. And as time goes on, you're able to eat more, and you just have to be really mindful of what you eat.
So you had the surgery how long ago?
3 years ago, it will
3
be in
years.
March.
Okay, it really is 3 years. And you obviously lost a lot of weight.
Yes, I lost 140 pounds.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is. And it took about a year and a half to do that.
Uh-huh.
So I've been maintaining this weight for about 2 years now.
And the bit that I know about bariatric surgery is a lot of people lose weight initially,
Yes.
and then they start to pile it back on, which
Yeah.
is very disappointing. 'Cause
Yes.
you've put yourself through a lot,
And a lot of it has to do is because they do not change the way they eat. They go back to eating pizza and drinking soda and eating candy and all the fun things.
Uh-huh.
But when you get the surgery, you have to remember that you have to change everything, the way you eat and the exercise that you do.
Uh-huh.
And it's not just for a year or 2, it's a lifetime. You have to really commit to this for this tool to work.
What made you decide to have the surgery in the first place?
I wasn't feeling well, and I was really big. I was about 280 pounds, and I was just sick of living life on the sidelines, basically.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to do anything. I couldn't play with my kids as much as I wanted to, and it was just hard to keep up with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it for myself, but I also did it for my children, so I was able to engage with them more.
Mm-hmm. And you were living up in the Northeast Kingdom then.
Yes.
That in itself is a challenge, because I don't think bariatric surgery is something that gets talked about very much up here.
No, and I never really knew very many people up here that had it done.
Uh-huh.
I have 2 friends that have had it done. One lives in Lower Vermont, and the other one lives in Virginia. And we talk all the time, but they're not up here, so it's hard to connect with others who have had it done around me.
Yeah. Do you know anybody up here who's had it done?
One person, it's through a family friend. I can't remember his name at the moment.
Yeah. That's actually amazing, because in other parts of the country it's quite common that
Yes.
one or more of the surgeries are pretty standard procedure in some ways, and yet up here, yet again,
Yes.
we have very limited access, which also means you had very limited access to information.
Yes, I did a lot of research online. I looked on Google, I YouTubed a ton,
Yeah.
and I also joined a lot of Facebook groups, talked to people that have had it done, and I just I got a lot of information as I went through the process.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is we live in this century and we can access information like
Yes.
that. But you still have to be pretty technologically savvy to be able to do that.
Yes. And you have to be in. Also, I've learned in the Facebook groups, a lot of people, when they post in there, it's a lot of it you have to be mindful. It's a lot of, excuse my language, bullshit. Because they only post the bad things. And they complain. And you have to remember that maybe they're doing something that is preventing them their success. Meaning they're probably not following the diet the correct way. Mm-hmm. So I had to really weed through all that and really find a few people that have had good luck with the surgery mm-hmm. and are still doing good now. And I have stayed in contact with a couple of people from those groups, and we all bounce ideas off from each other and recipes and stuff like that. So it's been an interesting process.
So what are some of the things that have changed in your life since you A, had the surgery and B, lost the weight?
A lot of foods can make me sick, especially if something is too sweet, and you're supposed to stay away from sugar anyway. But once in a great while, I might have a treat. Mm-hmm. And if I eat it, sometimes, not all the time, but usually all the time, it will not make me feel so good. And if I eat a lot of it, it just makes me sick. So I usually choose not to have sweet treats most of the time. Mm-hmm. And I gave up pasta about 3 years ago, right before the surgery. And I don't really eat a lot of bread or potatoes mm-hmm. and stuff like that.
So what do you eat?
I eat like steak, fish. I can't eat pork anymore because pork makes me sick for some reason. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. That happened after the surgery. And I eat a lot of vegetables, and I spice things up with different sauces, spices, and actually vegetables aren't that bad if you can alter the taste of them with spices and stuff. You can make it so you'll eat more of them.
Right.
Because usually before I would eat vegetables and they would just be blah. Like I wasn't interested in them. I mostly ate pasta. And after the surgery, I looked at recipes and tried a few of them out. And I changed a few things, and that's how I started getting the hang of it. And then an idea popped into my head that why don't I make a cookbook for other bariatric patients to make mm-hmm. it easier on them. Because right after surgery, when they do the puree stage, because there's stages of food you have to eat, in the first couple of weeks you have to eat the pureed stage, which is like baby food. I ate baby food for 2 weeks. And then you have to go to the next stage, which is a little more chunkier mm-hmm. stage, and then you can go on to your full diet. And I know people, when they get off that puree stage and the chunky stage, they have no idea what to eat.
Right.
And I find that a lot of people now, when they see those cookbooks, they say that it makes it so much easier now because they're able to see the ingredients that I use and stuff like that, and it makes it easier for them to go to the store and buy mm-hmm. food for them.
Did you get any help during this process, or were you doing all your own research?
Most of it myself.
Wow. So you're now an amazing resource for other people.
Yes.
We should be marketing you.
And I love helping others. I've always loved helping others.
Yeah.
Because before I was a stay-at-home mom, I was an LNA, so I love taking mm-hmm. care of people.
Well, this is a different way of helping, but boy, is it important, because what you've learned along this path, why should other people have to struggle to relearn it when
yes.
you've got the tools? I mean, as you describe what you can eat and what you can't eat, that's a lot of experimentation, and obviously that's what it was.
Yes, for the first year and a half, that's all I did was try a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that made me sick. I can't eat that, so take that away. It was a lot of like elimination and process.
Yeah. It's interesting. I have a friend who had a repair of a hiatal hernia where her stomach came up through her diaphragm, and with the surgery she ended up losing a chunk of her stomach. So what you're describing, the struggle as you were trying to figure out what you could eat, is very much what she went through.
Yeah, and
with not much help.
yes, and it was like I said, I did a lot of online reading
Yeah.
and watching YouTube videos and watching documentaries on YouTube about people that have had it done.
Yeah. She said something as well about not being able to eat pasta.
Yeah, I gave that up a long time ago, like maybe a year before I had the surgery, because that's all I would eat.
Ah.
Pasta was like my drug. I loved pasta. I would eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And not a little bit of it either, a whole plate full and more. So I just did away with it, and that has helped me tremendously.
Yeah, I bet.
And now I don't even eat it at all. I don't even crave it.
It's so amazing, the foods that pull us individually. I mean, I don't have an Italian background. I didn't grow up eating pasta. It's okay, but it would never really pull me. But there are other carbs that I can certainly see myself gravitating towards, and it would be very hard to give them up.
Yep, and I was also a big soda drinker after the surgery. They say you shouldn't drink carbonated drinks, and there's a good reason, because if you do, it can upset your stomach, and that's what it does to me, because I did try a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And it hurts my stomach. It doesn't make me sick, I just get really bad stomach aches. And I've seen others that have had the surgery, and they say you can have a soda once in a while because they have everything in moderation.
Yeah.
And they don't change much of how they eat. So they may start out eating a little bit and being okay, but a couple years down the road, they're starting to put the weight back on because they're eating more and more, not just one soda a day, 2, 3, 4, 5 sodas a day. And then you put the weight back on.
Right. And I presume the piece of stomach you have left gradually expands too, that it can accommodate more.
Yeah, because right now I'm back to eating as much as a normal person would eat per se. I don't eat as much as like my husband does, which is good. But I don't eat like a little like I was in the beginning. Right now it's just normal sized plate of food. And I eat a lot of which are the recipes that are in those cookbooks. I eat keto, vegan, low carb, high protein. You have to make sure you eat your protein first, because that also prevents you from eating more of carbs and stuff like that. And it also keeps you from getting hungry.
Sure.
And I also, what's the other thing? I also find keeping fresh cut vegetables up, raw veggies, and I snack on those during the day, and that helps my cravings. I'm staying away from like chips and bad foods like that.
Yeah. Were you knowledgeable about food before?
No.
So you've had to become your own dietitian, your own nutritionist, your own grocer, because very often I find when I go into a store that there are lots of veggies, because I'm obviously not from here, that there are lots of vegetables that I'm familiar with that people see them on the shelf and they don't know what they are.
And I saw a dietitian up here, but up here they're not very helpful. Yes, they give you a few recipes and they talk to you a little bit about what you should be eating and stuff like that, but they really don't give you a full description and giving you ideas and showing you how to fix the food.
Right.
It's just basically, yeah, you should do this and this and this. Here's a couple of recipes. You're on your own.
Wow.
And that's how I was treated up here in Newport. So I had to basically learn everything on my own.
And clearly you've learned a lot, because one of the things that you've created during this time is 2 recipe books.
Yes.
And I see that they're sort of part 1 and part 2, but
Yep.
they're freestanding too. I mean, one
Yes.
is a complete book. And there's a lot of recipes in here. And we'll put these up to the camera at the end so that people can see them. How does somebody get hold of these?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I can also give you my phone number, and I text, call. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of.
Do you have a website?
Nope, I only sell those on Marketplace as of right now. At some point I may create my own website.
I was going to say, you have kids. Get them to set up the website for
Yes.
you. They're the ones who know how.
Yeah, because I'm clueless.
I know, me too. But every young person I know says, oh, it's so easy.
Yeah, I don't know if my kids know how.
I would bet if you asked your 13-year-old.
Maybe. I don't know. She's smart, but she's not really big, like,
Except
savvy.
that kids have grown up with computers, and your generation and my generation, we didn't.
No.
But it's second nature, just like we could write with a pen. They know how to use a computer. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'll have to see if she knows how.
Yeah, you might be surprised.
Yeah, I might be.
Yeah. So the way somebody who's interested can get hold of you is through Facebook. And is it your name that you use? Or do you have
Yes.
an organizational name?
Nope, it's just Samantha DeCosta, and on my profile it will say I'm from Barton, Vermont. Just make sure you click that one, because I think there's a couple others on there or whatever, and they're from other states, but
Right.
just click on the one that says Barton, Vermont,
Yeah.
and I usually answer relatively quickly.
I'm sure.
And they make awesome Christmas gifts, by the way. And they're very, how should I say this? They're very easy to bring with you to places to show others, and they're very easy to understand. So, I know, they're my pride and joy.
Rightly so. As I was playing with them while we were waiting for the cameras to be ready, what I saw was a lot of recipes that are, quote, sensible recipes. They're easy to do with basic ingredients, nutritionally sound.
Yep.
And I would assume would help with a weight loss program anyway, that
Yes,
not
it
just post-bariatric.
Yep,
surgery.
it would help anybody that's going through a weight loss journey.
Yeah, yeah. How do you cope with things like going out to eat?
I try to find like salads and eating anything that they have that has some protein in it, like steak or chicken or fish. I do have to be careful in oils that they use. Sometimes I have to specify if they have options, because certain like vegetable oils will make me sick. But for the most part, there's places that I know that I can go to, that I go, and I stay away from fast food restaurants, like McDonald's, Wendy's.
Yeah.
I don't even go there at all.
Well, they're certainly not high in nutritional content. So.
No.
And probably they've thrown a lot of other things in that make the food very seductive, very tasty to people until they decide they don't like it, and designed to keep you hooked into going back.
Yep.
And that's always been the criticism of some of the really fast food chains.
Yeah, they put, I forgot what it's called, but it creates for you to have this hormone in your body that you crave that food.
Yeah.
And once you start eating again, it creates you to go back into that cycle.
Combination of fat, sugar, and salt hooks us all.
Yep. And I have low blood pressure, so my doctor wants me to eat more salt.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly putting salt on my food.
I can't imagine eating food without salt.
I'm not a big salt eater. I don't like salty things usually, so.
Yeah.
But it's been quite the journey, and it's been very challenging at times. And also, I find the easiest motivation are the haters. If you have not a very good support system and they just keep telling you that this is not a quick fix. This isn't a way to lose weight, that I'm taking the easy way out. They're my constant motivation of proving them wrong, because they say in 5 years I'm going to be fat again. Well, it's been 3 years,
right?
And I haven't gained any weight back yet, and hopefully in 2 more years I'm still the same way I am now, and I can be like, I'm supposed to be fat again, ain't I?
Do people really say to you, you've taken the easy way out?
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
Yes, they have.
Well, that shows pretty limited understanding of what you've chosen to do.
Yes.
I mean, this is not an easy commitment.
No. In fact, I find it much harder to do versus just dieting. Because you really have to weed through foods that literally make you sick. And some people that have had the surgery and they gain the weight back, they still eat foods that make them sick.
Right.
They eat through it. And I just don't understand why.
Right. I mean, you clearly put yourself through major surgery with a choice about do I or don't I commit to a lifetime of change. You made the commitment, but how anybody can think that was the easy choice is beyond me.
Yes. I've had a couple of people tell me that, and it's just, my remark is, you have no idea.
Right.
And the people that are telling me that are also on the heavier side.
Right.
And they don't want to change the way they eat.
Sure.
And I've said that I would help them if they wanted to have the surgery or whatever. I would help them get started and help them afterwards with foods and stuff. And they don't want, it's a no-go. They are against the surgery no matter which way I try to turn it.
It's funny, because as you're talking, the parallel in my head is the one around addiction and whether people do or don't use medication assist, either methadone or Suboxone or any of the others, that somehow that's considered the soft option, but it's not.
No. My thing is, there are food addicts.
Yeah.
So they, the surgery itself isn't going to fix it.
Right.
They have to be ready to change everything on their own and not be forced to, because it won't work.
Right.
And they also have to have some knowledge on what to do for food alternatives and stuff. And that's when I think I make a good person to come to, because I can look at a food menu or a recipe that has all like bad ingredients in it, and in my head I can remember certain things of what I eat, and I can make my own recipe out of it. and I can
Yeah.
help others do that. So
Are there any groups up here for people who are food addicts? I mean, many of us are in one form or another,
Yeah.
but there are others for whom it really is life-threatening.
as far as I know, there's no
I don't
support
think there
groups.
are either. I mean, there is a group called Overeaters Anonymous, but I don't know that there is a version of that up here.
No.
I haven't looked. I mean, it'd be interesting to think about, because I think we're pretty conscious up here of other forms of addiction, you know, drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling.
Yep.
But I don't know that we're seeing food in the same way.
No.
Or we're certainly not talking about it in the same way.
No. And it should be, because it's just as life-threatening as drugs and alcohol.
Well, it is, except it's the slow route as opposed to a fast one.
Yes.
I mean, what we put in our bodies has a lasting impact. I mean, I would bet that you're so much healthier now than you were.
Yes. For the most part, I am. There are a couple of issues that I've had to deal with, but it pretty much had to do with prior to surgery. But for the most part, all my blood levels are back to their normal levels that they should be. And my overall health is much better.
Yeah. I presume you also have to take some additional vitamins because there is some absorption through the stomach and you're missing a chunk of that.
Yep. And they're, like I said, I take vitamins every day, and it's not just for a few months or a couple of years. I wanted to do it for the rest of my life. So it just became part of my routine. Every morning I take all my vitamins, and then I have my coffee in the morning and start my day. And I go for a walk every day up a hill for about 1.3 miles, and then I walk back down. It takes about an hour and 10 minutes to walk there and home. And I do have a walking companion, my golden, big fur ball.
Yeah. Well, that's good for the dog and good for you.
Yes. And I don't feel so lonely.
Yeah, exercise is really important.
Yes.
And if weight has been an issue and all of the joint complications that goes with that, it's sometimes harder to put that back in your life. But obviously you made that commitment.
Yes.
You made a massive commitment to your own life and recovery and maintenance.
Yes. And I'm pretty proud of myself that I've been able to do it.
Are your kids proud of you?
Yes.
And your husband, obviously, but
Yes.
I was thinking more of your kids. But
Yes, they are.
yeah.
They always go around telling people that their mommy had weight loss surgery and that she lost a lot of weight. And my oldest always says that that she has a much happier mommy now. And she said that she is so proud of me, and that she always knew that I could do it. She had more faith in me than I did myself in the beginning. And she's been my cheerleader ever since.
Yeah, that's really cool having junior cheerleaders in your house. Yeah, go mom.
Yes. And life's been good.
Well, you've done the work.
Yes, I have.
And it wasn't handed to you.
No,
And
I really had
for
to
those
fight.
who say this was a soft option, I want to say wake up.
Yes.
Because it clearly isn't.
No, it isn't at all.
Yeah. What do you see in the next 5 years?
I tried to think about it as being positive, and if I stay on the track that I am, then I shouldn't be much bigger than I am now. And I know I hope to help as many people as I can, and try to I don't know, it's hard to think that far ahead.
It's sometimes nice to have goals. And if I was wishing for you, it would be that what you've learned, you have ways of being able to share so that more people can gain from it, because it's so much nicer if you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time.
Yes.
You had to not reinvent it, you had to invent the wheel to get to where you are.
Yep.
And that's such a gift for other people.
Yeah, like I said in the very beginning, I was really unsure of how this was going to play out. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to get all the weight off. So I actually, in the beginning, I made 2 goals. In March of when I had my surgery, that following December I was getting married. And I wanted to lose 90 pounds by my wedding. Seemed like a pretty big goal.
It's a big goal.
And my second goal was by summertime I wanted to be back down to my pregnancy weight to lose 140 pounds. And I worked hard, and when I had my wedding, I surpassed that goal. I was down 98 pounds.
Wow.
And then by July, I was down 142 pounds.
Yeah.
So I hit my goal, and ever since then, I've been managed to keep it off. I might gain a few pounds here and there, but I'm able to bring it right back down.
But all of us as women do. I mean, premenstrually we gain weight. It's fluid, and then we lose it again.
Yep. And I just really watch what I eat.
Yeah.
So if I see the scale going up, I say to myself, oh, we're going to go back to eating this much.
Right.
For the scale to go back down.
We are just about out of time. So in the last couple of moments, if you could tell people how they can reach you, and then as this ends, we'll show the books to people as well.
You can contact me on Facebook under Samantha DeCosta, Barton, Vermont, or you can call or text me at 802-323-3335.
That's great. My guess is you're going to get a lot of feedback from this, and I really hope some of the bigger book publishing companies or some of the healthcare institutions who are working with people contact you.
Yes. Nobody has yet, but that's my goal.
They don't know, do they?
No, and I've told Dartmouth I came out with 2 cookbooks, and they said I'm a success story.
Then they should be using you.
But they don't.
Clueless. Healthcare, right.
Yes.
Have they got copies of your book?
No, and I don't think I'm allowed to give them out at the hospital either.
But I bet you could send a couple of copies to whoever did your surgery and their clinic, just to let them know that you exist and look what you've done, with a gorgeous photo of yourself. See, we can market you.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming in. This was great.
Yes, thank you.
And see you around.
Yes, see you too.
Thanks.